Hello, welcome back to United TV. I'm bringing you a match analysis of our game against Aston Villa, which we drew 0-0 yesterday at Villa Park. But first of all, could I please ask you to drop a like, drop your comments. I want to hear from you afterwards, see what you thought of the match and my analysis. Also, please remember, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already and activate that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Okay. So firstly, we're going to look at our main threat in this match, which you won't be surprised to see was Marcus Rashford. This was something which was on display for the entire match, whilst he was on the pitch anyway. So this is a familiar position that we found ourselves in this game. Marcus Rashford in transition on the left, attacking the Aston Villa defence. United trying to get numbers forward here. It's a 5-on-4 at the minute in Villa's favour. So as we can see, Rashford got to the edge of the box and he's faced up with two defenders. Meanwhile, he's got three in support. We've got Eriksen, Rasmus HOJLUND and Garnacho here. And their job in this is going to be to try and disrupt that shape that Villa have got and create some space for Rashford to either pass off to another player or to get a shot on goal. So in particular, Rasmus HOJLUND here is going to drag Konsa away, and what he's doing is he's going to drag Konsa deeper, which is going to isolate Matty Cash on a 1v1 with Marcus Rashford. And Marcus Rashford in this instance, he could either drive to the byline, try and get a ball across. He may find Eriksen, or what actually happens in this clip is it leaves him on a one-on-one with Matty Cash and he looks for the shot. So as we can see, Marcus Rashford cuts in on that right foot, which is the thing that he most often tries and he's successful at in the main. And he's able to try and get shot away, and actually what happens is Emi Martinez makes a good save. It wasn't quite in the corner. So on to the next chance of the game. This was Villa's first real chance, but this does showcase the United compact defending that we saw in this match, which was a big improvement on our last game. So as we can see here, United, they're not pressing the centre-backs when they have the ball, and also when Emi Martinez had the ball, our attacking line were not pressing. There were several occasions where they had the ball in this position or with the goalkeeper for 30-40 seconds at a time, and we just held our position, trying to block those passes through into the midfield and force the ball wide to the fullbacks. We wanted to control where Aston Villa played the ball, not the other way around. Unfortunately, in this particular instance, which actually enabled Aston Villa to have a shot on goal, they were able to penetrate our first line in the mid-block. And as you'll see in a second, Villa then have a run at our midfield and back four. But the good thing here is the defensive line is not in too bad a position here. And also the distance between the defenders and also the distance between the defenders and our midfield is not a large gap like it has been in previous games, so we're able to regain shape quite quickly. The ball is played into Watkins and at this point Watkins is not in a great position to try and find another Aston Villa player. We've got numbers around the ball, so actually what happens is he does get support in the end. But if you look, the player on the ball has got six around him. Evans and Maguire are in front of him and he's a long way from goal, so anything he does here is not going to be too dangerous really. Evans ends up forcing him to shoot and Onana has the shot covered. So the likelihood of a goal there wasn't likely. The next chance for United, this was a familiar pattern. This leads on from the first clip that we looked at, and this was another one where Marcus Rashford was able to cut inside, and this time actually Martinez saved it onto the crossbar. It was a good save. So as we can see again, Villa have got that compact unit. They've got the back four in a good position here, and the two defensive midfielders right in front of them. There's not a lot of space here. So once again, the objective of our attacking players who are not on the ball is to try and force some of those Villa players out of position and create a one-on-one for Rashford against Matty Cash. He had the beating of him all game, and it was our most threatening tactic in this game. Kobe Mainoo this time is the one who's dragging the Aston Villa midfielder away, the one that's closest to Matty Cash. Mainoo's taken him inside, which isolates Matty Cash on a 1v1 against Rashford. Rashford is then able to fake a shot in order to find space between those two Villa defenders that I've marked and get a shot away, which Martinez, as I said before, is able to tip onto the bar. And this was a common theme throughout the match. The next clip then is another Villa chance. This is from a set piece, and this was something which we saw 2 or 3 times in the match. United were content with letting Villa shoot from the edge of the box. As we can see, it's come from a short corner. Villa have got numbers on the edge of the box. United don't have any men out there. I'm not sure if this was a tactic, but it happened 2 or 3 times. And when Tielemans calls for the ball, it's played across. As you can see, there's 6 United players in the way of that ball. It's going to take some effort to score from there. As you can see, the expected goals, 0.04, so 1 in about 20 shots is likely to score from that position according to the statistics. Of course, any deflection here leaves Onana pretty vulnerable to a shot on goal. But as we can see here, the shot is routinely saved by Onana. And for the most part, that's as good as it got for Villa. We really restricted them in terms of chances in this game. And likewise, they restricted us as well to the 2 Rashford chances that we've seen. The best chance for Villa was when the game started to open up in the last 5 minutes. So for the most part, both teams, they didn't push men forward and were happy to kind of just hit on the transition, try and get anything on the counter-attack, but ultimately there were numbers back for both sides. Both sides defended well in this respect. We'll see here, this was probably the move of the match. Aston Villa, with some quick passing, were able to take advantage of a shortage of numbers down United's right in this instance. So the ball is played into Tielemans, who's very good at receiving the ball on the half-turn like this and playing balls into dangerous position. He's able to find the striker. As you can see, Villa at the top of your picture have a man calling for the ball. He's in space. They're outnumbering United on that side, 3-2. And inevitably what happens is the striker that's received the ball is clever enough to find that ball out to their left-hand side. And the ball is drilled across the box. De Ligt, whilst running back, wasn't able to sort his feet and he's ended up tripping over and missing the ball, which could have proved costly. And fortunately for United, they weren't able to take advantage, but Dalot in this whole manoeuvre didn't have any awareness of the player, number 19 pictured at the bottom of your picture for Aston Villa. But unfortunately he wasn't clinical and he's allowed Dalot to get back into a position where he's covering the goal. Dalot actually turned his back just after this clip and he's able to block the shot and it goes out for a corner. This was the only time Villa really crafted a chance noteworthy in this match. So again, this was probably in the 95th minute when the game had become stretched. Both teams throwing caution to the wind ever so slightly. And after this one, United did have a similar chance of their own where Garnacho should have done better. He wasn't able to keep any composure and he actually lost. He drove the ball into the defender rather than finding Fernandes at the back post, which was very frustrating. On to some general observations that I found in this match. Johnny Evans was absolutely immense at the back. A rock at 36 years old. He won 11 out of his 12 duels. Bruno Fernandes, despite criticism, was actually more controlled in this match. 90% pass completion, which I believe is the season's best. 3 interceptions, 1 shot blocked. He was working with the rest of the team. They were all working in unison. He wasn't going on his solo pressing missions that he likes to do. He was very restrained in that respect, and he contributed defensively, which was a big help and a reason why, or one of the reasons why, we were able to keep Villa out. As I've mentioned beneath that, there was a coordinated press and mid-block. We stayed in shape very well, the distance between players was good and they were all moving in the same directions. And only 1 save for Onana to make, which is the one that we've seen from Tielemans. What I have pointed out here is HOJLUND will not score many in this system. So the centre forward's role, certainly in the tactic that we tried against Aston Villa, was to drag players out of position whilst the wide players were able to cut in and look for the shot. Unless the goalkeeper's going to spill the ball or there's a deflection, HOJLUND is not going to get a chance to score at all. And that's kind of highlighted when you see his touches. He's only had 15 touches in this match, in the 64 minutes that he played, none of which were in the box. Xerxes, when he came on, was also partial to the same problem. He only had 8 touches in his 26 minutes, although his cameo was actually really poor. And I think he was lucky to stay on the pitch. He could have been substituted off, it was that bad. But the takeaway from this match was that both teams were content not to lose. They've both come away from Villa Park with a point, and I think they'll both be happy. As I said at the start of the show, please, if you could drop a like, drop your comments in the chat, let's have a discussion. Also, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications to make sure you don't miss any future content. Thank you very much.